So good morning and welcome. If we haven't met, my name is Gordon England, and I am president of the Academy of Medicine, Engineering, and Science of Texas, also known as TAMEST. And so the very first thing, I'd like to thank our sponsors, because without our sponsors, frankly, we could not be here this morning, or at least we couldn't be here in the elegance that we are in this hotel. And so our feature sponsor is Lockheed Martin, and our partner sponsors are Bell Helicopter, Texas A&M University, Texas Instruments, and the Welsh Foundation. And I would like a round of applause just to thank them. So before we start, before I introduce really the star of this show, Dr. Bonnie Dunbar, who organized it all, first I want to say a few words about our academy, the Academy of Medicine, Engineering, and Science of Texas, again, TAMEST. It is the state's premier scientific organization. We bring together Texas's best and brightest scientists and researchers. It includes all Texas-based members of the National Academies of Science, Engineering, Medicine, and the state's Nobel laureates. So if any member of any of those academies resides in Texas, they are a member of TAMEST. And so what we do, we provide recognition of the state's top achievers in medicine, engineering, and science, and our whole objective is to foster Texas as a national research leader. We want Texas to be the center of research, because if we are, then we will be the center of the future in terms of technology and technology-based companies and jobs. So we foster the next generation of scientists, and we increase the awareness of and communication among the top scientists and researchers. This is the only organization I know of, frankly, in the country that brings together all three disciplines under one organization. So that is the future in terms of innovation. Now, last year was a very big year for this organization. Not only did we bring together literally the top minds in Texas at our annual conference to talk about the future of Texas, but we also had the first of its kind report on the impacts of shale and oil development in the state. Very important topic. It has been very controversial in the state and in the nation. And so this task force report was widely covered by the media and interest groups, and in fact, it's still being covered, and we're still briefing throughout the state. And members of our shale task force, we testified at the state legislature, and we continue to participate in events around the country. Now, I will say that none of this is possible without people who support us, our sponsors, our member institutions, our members. We have no outside funding. The state doesn't support us. Federal government doesn't support us. It's literally people who believe in this mission. So if you believe in the mission, you'd like to help us, we would love to have you help us out financially. So feel free if you have that inclination. Also, I want to welcome our proteges. So every year we have proteges that are invited to the conference. The proteges are the rising stars. And they're the rising star researchers and scientists whose careers we hope are on a trajectory to be members of one of the national academies. And so if you look at page 22 of your brochure, you can learn more about our protege program. Okay, now to our conference, which is why we're all here today. And I'd like to introduce Dr. Bonnie Dunbar. So Bonnie Dunbar. I mean, I'm here as a president of the organization, but 99% of all the work for this conference is Bonnie and her committee. And she is the director of the Tees Institute, Engineering Education and Innovation at Texas A&M. She's also professor of aerospace engineering, head of Aerospace Human Systems Lab at Texas A&M University. She is an astronaut five times in space. So literally, I mean, she is the star power that has brought all these people together here today in terms of this terrific program we have. So she is the conference chairwoman, and she and her committee did an absolutely marvelous job of putting this together. So how about a warm welcome for Dr. Bonnie Dunbar.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Gordon, and I appreciate the acknowledgement, but it takes tremendous leadership on part of the board to make this all come together. I have a pleasure to welcome you all here today to this 2018 TAMEST conference. As you know, every year we have a different theme, and the theme this year was selected a year and a half ago as aerospace. And I was really quite privileged and honored to be asked to help assemble a committee to pull it together. And really, the committee pretty much outranks me. My honorary co-chair is Dr. Bobby Alfred, who can't be with us today, Baylor College of Medicine. General Norm Abramson, retired, Southwest Research Institute. Dr. John Junkins, Texas A&M. Dr. Hans Mark, the University of Texas at Austin. Dr. Ellen Ochoa, the director of the NASA Johnson Space Center, and you'll hear from her later. Dr. Louise Proctor, the director of the Lunar and Planetary Institute, and you'll hear from her later as well. Dr. Paul Spudis, also with LPI and an expert on lunar exploration. Dr. Jeffrey Sutton, Baylor College of Medicine, and Dr. Byron Tapley, the University of Texas at Austin. Would you please give them all a round of applause? They were wonderful. Before we continue with the program, it's not in your program, I just want to make a very special acknowledgement and an introduction and ask him to stand. We have a very special guest with us today. If you went to the reception last night, you had an opportunity to see the Apollo 11 command module on display at Space Center Houston. So please help me welcome one of the people who flew in that, Dr. Buzz Aldrin. Buzz, would you stand? The first men to walk on the moon, and we'll celebrate that 50th anniversary next year.